Bird on Bears fans, question on the table today. Should the Chicago Bears start fining Roquan Smith as he continues to hold in and miss practice? Let's talk about it starting now. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago Bears daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Bears, how Bears talk. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. Unfortunately, we're still here in this whole Roquan Smith situation, right? As the situation gets longer, the new development now is that Roquan has had somebody who is not approved by the NFLPA as an agent calling around to see and gauge his trade value around the NFL. Right? The NFLPA has put out this report saying they have told teams to not take calls from this person, to not speak with this person. First off, it's a mad shady sounding kind of, you dig, right? Like it sounds like he got like the dudes that crack cards over in Africa calling around for him. Like it's wild out here. It's a story that almost doesn't sound believable, legitimately. But the fact that we're here now, right? The question is on the table, as Roquan Smith has not only missed all of training camp, he's missed a week of practice. He's now going into missing his second week of practice and has missed an entire game. Is it time for the Chicago Bears to start fining Roquan Smith? And here's the thing. They can fine him, I believe, up to $40,000 per missed practice and up to $500,000 per missed game. So definitely can hurt the pocketbooks a lot, especially seeing as how Roquan hasn't secured that new deal that he's looking for, right? So, and there's a couple of things here, right? I don't know for me, right? Now, I know there's a lot of people that are like, yep, you should have been fining them. You should have been trying to do this, right? I think Ryan Poles is trying to set a precedent here, a precedent that, listen, we're going to go through as much as we can to appease our players, right? But we're not going to cripple our team. And so, to me, right, putting them on the pup list, olive branch. Hey, listen, I want you here. I want you to be a part of this team. I don't want to have to find you. I don't want you to miss time. I don't want you to not be around your teammates. Still doesn't get the deal done here. Now we're getting into preseason week 1. Now he even puts in that he wants to be traded by the Chicago Bears and puts that out publicly, says that the deal is a bad deal. Teams around the NFL don't seem to think so. In fact, teams around the NFL say they wouldn't give him that level of a deal. So we heard Adam Schefter report that, right? And so now you're looking at, okay, is it now time to start fining him that he's missed all of training camp? And a game. Now, again, right, it's a preseason game. They can fine him up to $500K for missing that game, but it's a preseason game. Probably wasn't going to get a ton of reps anyway, right? But now we're getting to the point where I think you have to start and look at it and say, I've got one last ditch effort for you. It's not for the Bears at this point, right? Because I told you the Bears can find linebackers. We've seen that time and time again. Do you want Roquan on your team? Yes. But we can find linebackers. But here's what it comes down to for me. I give one last ditch effort. I say, Roquan, listen. As a former player, even though I never reached your heights, if I'm Ryan Poles, I want you to go out and get an agent, because it's going to be the best thing for you to get the deal that you want. Because you think about, right, when you're going and negotiating for yourself, what is the point of the organization, right? The organization is basically there to, yes, they want to pay you, but they're there to literally tell you everything that you didn't do for you to not make this level of money. Right? I don't know whether that comes down to sacks. I don't know whether that comes down to interceptions, right? There are things that Roquan Smith just didn't do, but not to say that he's a bad player, but they have to put those things in there when they're trying to justify this price of millions that they are looking to give you. When you're the specific player, that can come off as very disrespectful, right? Hey, Roquan, we understand you gave us all these tackles, but where are the picks? We understand you gave us all these tackles and you broke up all these plays, but where are the sacks? Right? That's literally what organizations do, which is why the agent is very important, because in that situation, right, you're talking to the agent. The agent doesn't take that back to the player. And I think that's something that you really have to focus in on there when you're talking about this. So if I'm Ryan Poles, I say, listen, we want to get a deal done with you. We want to bring you in. Go find yourself an agent. If he then returns to me with the, I'm not going to do that, I'm not making this move, I'm going to negotiate for myself, it is what it is. Okay, well, guess what? You're under contract. So now the fines will come. Now the expenses will come. Now the $500K per game will come. I think that's the situation that you're in now if you're Roquan Smith, because to me, you've lost all your leverage. You've lost all your foothold. And you realize, if you don't realize by now, the Chicago Bears are very willing to play this season without you and are very willing to move forward without you. Like, will they be worse this season? Yeah. Are they never going to find a linebacker again? I don't believe it. I got 36 inches of bear head back here that's built on defenses that tells me we'll be able to build another defense. So I think now is a situation where you give them one last ditch effort. You give them one last ditch hurrah. Hey, listen, I love having you here. I want you to be here. I want you to be a Bear for the rest of your career. But if you are willing to go down this path, we have no choice but to begin the fines. And I think that's kind of what it comes down to. Listen, let me know how you guys feel, man, in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. But I think when you're looking at this for Roquan, that you have to ask yourself is, not only have I lost my leverage with the Chicago Bears, but what's my value now around the NFL? Because listen, other NFL teams are going to look at this. They're going to look at the fact that you held out in your rookie season. They're going to look at the fact that you've held out this year. And yeah, they're going to love the player. They're going to want to pay the player. But right now, you're playing a position that is quickly becoming devalued in the NFL based on how the NFL is paying these guys and based on how the NFL is looking at the linebacker position. They understand what the injury numbers are at the linebacker position. They understand that more linebackers get hurt on the defense than anybody else. They understand that it's a huge investment to put into a guy. While, yes, he may be one of the best in the league and he's definitely an excellent player, that one, do I want to deal with the headache of, if I give you this contract in 2 years, will you be back asking me for another deal? And two, I have to now give up assets to get you. I have to give up assets to bring you into the building. And I have to pay you probably at that point, right, 16 or 17 million, because I think you're losing millions if you go to any other team in this situation because of what they would have to give up to get you in the building. So I think now, right, if you're Roquan Smith, you got to look at this situation and say, not only should he be fined, but is his value quickly diminishing around the NFL? And I think that's kind of where the NFL is with it. I think that's where the Chicago Bears are with it. And I think that's why it's kind of gone zero dark on everything Roquan Smith, right? Like, I think Ryan Poles has just said, listen, I think that we would be a much better football team with you, but we're getting to a point now where we have to just move on and focus on the guys that are a part of this and build up what we have here. And what we have here right now probably still isn't going to get us to a Super Bowl. So if we lose you, that just means we have another piece to try and acquire next offseason when we have all this money to go after it. I think if it does come down to anything, right, if it comes down to a trade, Roquan will be losing money out of his pocket. I do think that the Bears would end up coming up on some pretty good assets in that situation, which is something that would benefit the Bears in the long run, depending on what teams are willing to give up. And I think if he signs with the Bears, it's his best situation for getting the kind of money that he's looking for, even if it may not be the perfect contract that he's looking for. But at a minimum, right, I feel like we're at a point where if he's not willing to go get an agent, if he's not willing to talk to somebody who's willing to have these tough conversations, then maybe it is time for the Bears to say, listen, I'm willing to have you here. I will keep you here under your contract if the deal doesn't benefit me, and we will find the bejesus out of you. But again, I want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. Do you feel like it's time for the Chicago Bears to start fining Roquan Smith? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys. I love hearing you guys' opinion, man. Make sure if you haven't done so that you are subscribed to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel to talk Chicago Bears, how Chicago talk. So make sure you get in tune with us, man. As always, man, it's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again to continue watching our Chicago Bears content. Click the links on the screen or check the links in the description below. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.